So, what is mindfulness? What is mindfulness meditation, mindful eating? Why do therapists care so much about this thing? And why are they obsessed with it? And why is there way too much research? Um, Mindfulness is just the act of being aware. So, when you're present, you're observing, you're not thinking about the future. And if you're not thinking about the future, you're likely to be less anxious. If you're not thinking about the past, you're likely to be less depressed, less regretful. So, by learning to be in the moment, it helps us with our attention, our uh, anxiety, our depression. That said, it's just one of many, many approaches, and for some people, absolutely backfires. So it's common, for example, if you have PTSD or dissociation and you disconnect, for a therapist to say, okay, well, you need to practice connecting. You need to practice being in the moment. But that also might be a way to actually induce dissociation. So if you have PTSD, be very cautious about the mindfulness meditations. It might be easier to do something like mindful eating. You take a bite of something and you absorb the taste and you enjoy your meal. That's maybe something that's more grounding and less overwhelming. Mindfulness meditation can be used to look at your emotions and to process your current emotional state. By being aware of your emotional experience, that awareness sometimes decreases the intensity of it. But like I said, if you have PTSD, that might not be something you want to try. Or if you do, maybe try it with your therapist. But basically, mindful exercises are just exercises designed to increase your awareness. I assume anyone who is listening to this has been breathing their entire life. I mean, that is an assumption, but I would assume that. But there might be things that you have totally ignored. So let's take the spot just beneath your nose and just above your lip. And as you breathe in through your nose, can you feel a sensation? And as you breathe out, can you feel a sensation there? If so, interesting. You've been experiencing this thing your entire life and have never paid attention to it. That's a quick mindfulness activity, just picking something and observing it. Sometimes emotions are like that. Sometimes our emotions are in the background and we ignore them, but kind of bringing them forward and listening to them, we can process what's going on. So that's the gist of mindfulness. There's whole approaches around this. I'm just kind of summarizing it. It can be really helpful for reducing anxiety. If it works, cool, do it. If it doesn't, okay. Not every technique is going to work for every person. There's some therapists that everything is mindfulness, and it's like the snake oil, and it's the cure-all, and what if that doesn't fit you? What if it doesn't work for you? Well, I mean, then try something else. And if your therapist doesn't know anything else, that's unfortunate. I wish they would. Send them this video and they can get scolded by me. Just kidding. Well, I mean, you can still send them the video. That would probably be good for my views. I suppose send them one about parts of memory therapy. They can learn about that and they can try that approach. Thank you for your time. I hope this has been helpful in just explaining what mindfulness is, why it helps. There's other ways it helps. It even helps the brain with the blood flow, the thalamus, changes oscillations in the brain with the alpha waves. It does a lot if you do it like 20 minutes a day for like a couple months. But there's other techniques, so don't get discouraged if it doesn't work. If it does work and you feel better, interesting. I'd be even more curious if you were to do it for a couple months, what the effects of that would be. Thank you for your time.